Miss O'D again, where I'm going to look at angles of elevation and depression today. This is still with right angle triangles, so we still need to remember our SOHCAHTOA. So let's first of all, let's write that up here just as a quick reminder from the last lesson. And again, remember, SOHCAHTOA can only be used for right angle triangles. Only for right angle triangles. Okay. Let's have a look at what elevation and depression is. Most people get the elevation part right. The thing to remember that it's always measured from the horizontal. So if you're at ground level, then ground level is considered the horizontal, even though you may be standing on the ground. And so it's the angle that you're looking up. You're at ground level and you're looking up at something. Okay, so you start by looking at the horizontal, and it's the angle that your eyes move up to look at something at the top of a building, on top of a cliff, whatever the case may be. People generally don't have too many problems with the angle of elevation. Okay, so let's mark that. Angle of elevation. So this is the first thing you need to remember, is which one is elevation and which one is depression. Let's get another color then. Angle of depression is then if you're on top of something. So on top of a building, on top of a cliff, whatever it might be, you're on top of it. You start by looking out. So we look out first of all at the horizon, straight ahead. So this is when you're doing the angle of depression, you must always draw in the horizontal line first. Draw the horizon in. And then it's the angle that your eyes have to look down at an object. So we're talking about this angle here. So this is the angle of depression. Okay, looking down. Remember looking down. And so, if you're down, we're not so happy. So we're looking at it, and it's the angle of depression. Elevation, looking up, we're feeling good. And so it's like our eye is here. I should have been an art teacher. And again, you start by looking at the horizon and looking down. The common mistake is that people say it's here, which is incorrect. Now you might notice these two angles here. You might notice a special type of angle that you have seen before. The alternate angles, they make that Z shape in parallel lines, because remember, we started by looking at the horizontal here, started by looking at the horizontal here. And they make that Z, and so alternate angles are actually the same. So the angle of depression will be the same as the angle of elevation, but you must always show it in the question, which one is the angle of depression. Okay, now we have that sorted. Let's get going and do some questions. So here we have a yacht is 20 meters from the bottom of a lighthouse. Oh, now I'm going to test my drawing skills here. Of course, you don't need to actually draw it. Here's our water. Here's our boat. And this is 20 meters from the bottom of the lighthouse. Okay. From the top of the lighthouse, the angle of depression. So we're at the top. We're looking out. So remember, always draw in that depression, drawing the horizon first, and then the angle that we would be looking down. So we'll be looking down at the boat. So from the top of the lighthouse, the angle of depression to the yacht is 48 degrees. Calculate the height of the lighthouse. So we're assuming our lighthouse is vertical. Let's call it H for lighthouse. So there's our right angle triangle. There's a side we need to find. There's a side we know. Now, remember I said we can now actually say, well, hang on a sec. These two lines here are perpendicular. Not perpendicular, parallel. because they make that Z shape. They're both on the horizon. And so therefore we can say that this angle here is 48 degrees. Some people even like to say, well, that's a right angle, so they subtract it from 90, so that's 42. Doesn't matter. Either way is correct, or you could even make your triangle draw a vertical there. They're all correct. So now we just do some trig, do some SOHCAHTOA. It's a right angle triangle, so we use SOHCAHTOA. There's the hypotenuse opposite the right angle, so we don't know that. The side we're trying to find is opposite the angle, and the side we know is adjacent. So going to our SOHCAHTOA, we know that it's opposite and adjacent, so it must be tan. Tan of the angle, so tan 48 is the opposite side over the adjacent side. Then doing some quick equation solving, h must equal 20 tan 48, and then we need the calculator to open for us. And then don't forget, always make sure your calculator is on degrees. If you get some weird answer, like a negative answer or a really small answer, then you probably need to go to mode. So let's pop that in. 20 tan 48. And then don't forget to round to 3 significant figures. 1, 2, 3. The next number is not bigger than 5, so we chop it off. So it's 22.2. So h is approximately 22.2. Don't forget your units, meters. So the lighthouse is 22.2 meters. Okay, that's elevation and depression. So normally, quite often you have to draw a diagram or complete a diagram with these because it's important to get the angle in the right spot. Let's try another one. So now we have a tree. Let's test my amazing art skills. So we have a tree 6 meters high. So our tree here is 6 meters. It casts a shadow of 4.8 meters on the horizontal ground. So this is 4.8 meters. Calculate the angle of elevation of the sun. So we're assuming, let's get yellow for the sun. We're assuming that our sun is directly above our tree here. And we want the angle of elevation here because we're looking up to the sun. Okay, again, we're assuming that our tree is vertical. So there's our right angle triangle. Let's quickly write our SOHCAHTOA again. And we need to determine which sides we have. So we have opposite. We have adjacent. So opposite, adjacent, it's a tan again. So tan theta, make sure you get them the right way around, 6 over 4.8. Now remember, we're finding an angle, so remember from last lesson, to get rid of that tan, we do the inverse of both sides. And then we just pop it in the calculator again. So we have theta is approximately, let's grab that calculator. So we need to do inverse tan of, get my favorite function up, the fraction function, and 6 over 4.8. Enter. So we get 51.3. 1, 2, 3, 3 significant figures. It's not bigger than 5, so we chop it off. So 51.3. 51.3 degrees. Okay, that's the angle of elevation. So look up to the top of the tree. All right, hopefully that's some help. Good luck with the questions. Try them by yourself. Okay, bye.